Welcome into the Jam Happy Hour. I hope you're having a wonderful afternoon, evening, night, wherever it is, or whatever time it may be where you are. We're being joined here in the Jam Happy Hour by Coyle Girelli. Now I'm messing up. Sorry. Hi, Coyle. How are you?
I'm good. Don't worry. I'm used to it.
We, we've
Kind
had
of.
a
I
rushed
got.
day. So I am
Yeah,
so
I
excited
know.
to sit back and relax and listen to you and get to know you a little bit better and get to know your music too. How would you kind of describe your music?
Um, I mean, I've done a lot over the years in various genres, but as a solo artist, was going on my own, which was kind of '60s
Ooh.
feeling. Funland, my second solo record, was kind of during COVID and was a bit of energy in it. The new one that is coming out in October, which is called Museum Day, feel like a further kind of evolution out of the second record. I kind of described it as it feels half New York-y, half Manchester, England, which makes a lot of sense because
That should sound like a good time,
makes a lot of
actually.
sense. Um, and yeah, and I'm already working on this one, so I don't know. I guess that's it's just
It's like a little bit of
a lot of
everything. I'm excited
yeah.
to hear some of it. What song would you like to start with us here in the Jam Happy Hour?
Um, I'm gonna go with the Deep Dance from Funland.
Fantastic. Take it away, Coyle.
You look pretty when you cry and pretty when you don't. Waxing the weather in the 4x4 the headlights on. You look pretty when you cry and pretty when you don't. Waxing the leather with your lipstick stains and your cigarette smoke. Oh, my heart, queen. Oh, baby, do you wanna dance to me? Take a dress and the count of three. Oh, my heart, queen. Oh, baby, do you wanna dance to me? Come tie me up in symmetry tonight. Wrecking people with a knife and ripping through the corners. Can't find the razor on the bedroom floor. The mouth gone numb. Guess I really should go home, but I can't sleep alone. Just in the water till the light gets burned and the cows come home. Oh, my heart, queen. Oh, baby, do you just wanna dance to me? Take a just on the count of three. Oh, my heart, queen. Oh, baby, do you just wanna dance with me? Tie me up in symmetry tonight. Do you wanna dance? Do you wanna dance tonight? Or do you wanna dance?
And that's how you start a Jam Happy Hour off and running. And you're right. Every one of those genres that you name checked earlier, Coyle, like you can hear bits and pieces of it kind of blended all throughout the song. That's a very unique sound.
Awesome, thank you.
Um, I know you already have projects coming up, and you
Yeah.
mentioned that you're even working ahead. Do you always find that that's kind of how you work within your music? Are you always constantly, You got one thing going on one side of the brain and another thing going on the other side of the brain.
It's a lot. I yeah, I think there was a period in my life when I was in a rock band, touring
Hmm.
rock band, and that was kind of the only focus. Um, there was a period of my life where I was writing pop songs for other people, which was
Hmm.
kind of shorter period of my life, which is kind of my only focus. And now, yeah, kind of, I guess like the post, Love Kills is my first solo record, Funland my second, which came out of COVID, and it feels from Funland onwards is a whole new um, chapter for me. And yeah, I just have completely thrown myself into creating as much music and art as I can. And this new record is coming. There's another record that I've already written to come after it, another one to try and fit in somewhere else. All day I've been in rehearsals for a musical that I've written, which opens downtown in early next year. And then I have three musicals I've written that are also in early stages of production as well. So
Now,
um,
is that the one that
kind of
you're working on with Ben Thornwell?
I am not the one that I was working that I was rehearsing today. I
That's
was
the
with
one
him
that's.
last night. I was with him last night. We did a through of one last night.
We're big
Great
fans of
songs.
Ben here in the Jam Happy Hour, and
Oh, very cool.
I can
Very
only
cool.
imagine what you two are coming up with together with all of that talent in one room. So that is very cool.
I'm very excited to get those songs out. I mean, I'm excited to get the show out, but yeah, Ben and I, um, Ben, yeah, I worked my own all the way through COVID. I didn't do Zoom.
Hmm.
I don't like writing music over Zoom
Right.
with anyone but Ben. Ben and me wrote
Just Ben.
basically wrote most of that musical over COVID together. And he was in Kentucky. I'd run away to the woods in Vermont, and we kind of that's how we did it. And yeah, I love him, and I'm very excited to get the music out because it's very cool. It's kind of a
Yeah.
mixture of the two of us in a way.
Yeah, I invite everybody to go back if you haven't gotten to able to experience Ben. You can go back into the Jam Happy Hour and listen to our interview and the way that he plays. And yeah, it's a very different approach to music, but I can absolutely see how the two of you would blend very well together, especially since you are, very versed in collaborations, working with others, producing, like being able to pull different sounds out of certain songs and whatnot. If is there any aspect of what it is that you do that you kind of are more comfortable in, or like do you prefer to perform, do you prefer to produce, do you like it seems like you're always up to something.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's definitely a period of creation,
Hmm.
creating a lot, and not performing as much.
Hmm.
The time to tour is a little difficult because of the amount of
Right.
projects I have going at the same time and the amount of recording I want to do. It's funny when I was a little kid, when I was 18, and I was like kind of learning, you know, songwriting and started kind of making my own demos and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, I kind of romanticized the fact that the Beatles and Kate Bush were able to do what they do did what they did without touring,
Hmm.
and the fact that they both kind of hold up and uh, made records without touring,
Very good
and
records.
very good records. Kate Bush and the Beatles are my all-time fave and still my biggest inspirations. And so, I think somewhere in the back of my head,
Yeah.
a seed was planted when I was very young that my ideal situation would be constantly releasing music, but not necessarily touring as much as maybe most people do. And that is where I've ended up right now. So I don't know whether I manifested it or what, but that is kind of where I am.
There are definitely some artists that live to tour and just, they stay on the road as much as they possibly can. They're comfortable in that space. Obviously, you're very comfortable in a creative space. And some people, they're fine with making everything in a bus on the road, but it feels like you need to be more like, in the middle of what your things, like your studio, your place. And yeah, technology is like super great. You can do almost anything anywhere, but you got to be, like in the element to make what you want to make, is what I think I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, I love her, and I toured for a long time. I
Hmm.
love performing live. Um, just I just can't do it right now. I just can't. There's too many things going on. I couldn't work on all the projects that I have
Hmm.
and tour. Two things just wouldn't work. So
You had mentioned Kate Bush, and I think we all watched something very interesting happen last year with Kate. I mean, and a lot of people got to know her for the very first time. Thank you, Stranger Things. Thank you, Internet and TikTok. And all of a sudden, Running Up That Hill becomes a massive hit again, in 2022. And not that one has to do with the other, but then, she's getting inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, rightfully so, should have been years ago. How do you feel about how much social media and pop culture can drive a song like that, can bring something, back from decades ago and make it just like this whole phenomenon? Friend or foe?
friend, I think, yeah, especially with someone like Kate Bush, it always puzzled me as as somewhat of a music historian, and I'm someone who believes that you really need to understand the full evolution of
Hmm.
music to understand modern music. Like, you kind of need to understand the influences and stuff to
Hmm.
and so um with Kate Bush, it always blew my mind that more people here just didn't know who he was, especially because there were so many artists here who were clearly directly influenced by her, heavily directly influenced by
Oh yeah.
Mary Amos and, Florence and the Machine. And, there's so many successful female artists who are clearly, you know, very influenced by Kate Bush. And so I would often bring it up, and people like, Kate Bush. And it would
What?
always completely blow my mind. And then I would introduce somebody to Kate Bush, and then they'd be like, "Oh my God, she's amazing." I was like, "Yeah, she's literally a goddess in English music." So
Absolutely.
yeah,
You talk about
so
musical
yeah, I love
history
it.
education. Um, if you could teach a class at
Hmm.
pick a university
I
on
am
musical history,
tomorrow.
do it tomorrow. You're like, I'm all in.
I'm doing it. Yeah, I am doing it. I'm doing a talk at the school tomorrow in the songwriting class to talk about
Really? That is so
um
awesome.
yeah, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Yeah, you could be inspiring the next Kate Bush.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, and musically too, which we are here to enjoy the music here in the Jam Happy Hour. Um,
Yeah.
what song would you like to perform for us next, Coyle?
I'm gonna do one from Love Kills, which is my first solo record, called "Where's My Girl."
Where's my girl? All right, here you go. Coyle, take it away in the Jam Happy Hour.
Lust has no mercy, like flies to fruit. You keep me thirsty, feed flesh and juice. There's not a fire, there's violet blue. Oh, how you burn the perfect blue. Where's my girl? Where's my girl? Calling for you, baby. Where's my girl? Where's my girl? Where's my girl? Calling for you, baby. Where's my girl? You bite like a bee sting. I kiss your tattoo. I'm not with lipstick. Pales and blues. All those pretty girls are ghosts of you. Haunts me in my silent blue. Where's
Thank you. Where's my girl here with Coyle Girelli here in the Jam Happy Hour? Um, you talked about how you've many projects coming up. Obviously, you did some projects
Yeah.
during COVID, and before that as well, with the different bands and solo and stuff like that. Do you think? I know as a listener, I think of albums as almost like snapshots in time, and
Yeah.
when you listen back to like say stuff that came out during COVID, does it take you back to that mindset for you as the creator?
Yeah. Uh, yeah, for sure. I think, you know, I mean, so much of that was a haze,
Right.
especially like I was quite late when I wrote, when I wrote a
Hmm.
lot of that record. So I
Yeah.
don't remember writing a lot of that record.
Right.
But um, yeah, it definitely, there was obviously COVID was awful. I mean, COVID in particular, but there was something about being completely shut off. I was lucky to be able to get away to Vermont and kind of hide in
Oh,
the
nice.
woods, and just write music all day. And there was, it was the first time in a few years that I'd been able to do that, where the
Hmm.
music had just been for myself. Um, it was honestly a bit of a major shift for me having that time. Um, and I was missing the city. A lot of that album is about me missing the city. I was missing my friends. I was missing being able to go out and live
Yeah.
life. And yeah, I mean, I feel that when I hear the songs. I feel that when I sing the songs. Um,
But it had to be
so
very
yeah,
therapeutic at the time to be able to put those thoughts and feelings into, the music, to have
yeah,
that outlet.
yeah. I mean, I didn't mean to write a record. I didn't mean to spend all day writing music. It was instinct. It was what I was. It's how I dealt with the anxiety and the stress of the situation. It's kind of why I started writing music. It's always kind of been therapy for me personally.
Therapy. That's
Um,
the ad.
yeah, I feel better after I sing or write a song than I did before I sing or write a song.
Hmm.
Lift something out, and so yeah. So I guess it was natural that my instinct was to just hole up and write music because it was how I was gonna cope, I guess.
No, we're certainly glad that you did, adding to the discography of what you can experience if you're liking what you're hearing
Yeah,
here with Coyle. Definitely jump in on his socials, follow and playlisting. It matters so much for every like click and like and share, like that algorithm gets picked up and, suddenly
oh
more
yeah,
people are experiencing it, than ever before. And it's all because of like an actual, like organic, like, people liking and finding and looking for your music. So that's why we like to get together and do a little jam happy hour. Um,
yeah, I love it.
when it comes to the technology, like with the music, I mean, obviously, you talk about music history, you go way back and you've got, the analogs and the tape and the reels. And then all of a sudden we're jumping to records and cassettes and then it's CDs. And now it's everything's like, does it even exist? Like it's just kind of in the internet. When it comes to listening to music, how do you prefer to hear other artists? Are you like a vinyl person or are you like all in on the tech?
I like to listen to a whole album. I'm not a singles. I don't
Mm,
jump around singles guy. I mean, I love Spotify. I love streaming. Um, Going back again to when I was a little kid. I mean, I was a real audiophile and would spend all my money on CDs.
yeah.
And would. I remember thinking this so many times, kid. I mean, I had a lot of CDs as a kid, but it was not enough, right? I had maybe
Yeah.
300 CDs or something.
In that big old suitcase that we would carry
And
around back in the day.
it didn't feel like enough. And I remember
Yeah.
thinking, my God, can you imagine having all the music in the world? Like,
Mm.
what an amazing thing to be able to have. And
Now you do.
and now we do, yeah. Spotify or Apple Music or Amazon, whichever one you use. Like there's like all the music. That's every CD ever made,
Ever.
or not even
Yeah.
before CDs. Every piece of music ever recorded, or most. in one place. It's amazing. I think it's amazing. I think streaming is amazing. I think the freedom it offers an artist is incredible.
Yeah.
Um, again, your distribution used to be as many CDs as you have, or as many tapes as you could make, or as many whatever you right?
Out of the trunk of the
Now
car.
it's as many people have access to it, or find it, or it's like limited.
You talk
And the
about,
freedom that
though,
gives to
like
create is amazing.
going to the record store, taking your money out, purchasing an album, purchasing a CD. Like those are some core memories,
Oh
for
yeah.
me. And it's almost like here's an entire generation that's not going to get to experience that. Like what were some of your like first musical purchases that kind of have stuck in your brain?
So I grew up in a little town called Otley, which is a very classic Northern English market town in the Yorkshire, sort of near Yorkshire. It's the gateway to the Yorkshire Dales, is what it calls itself.
Okay.
So it's a pretty rural
Okay.
part of the world. Would need There was only the one way to get into Leeds, which was the nearest city where I could
Okay.
go buy music, and that was by bus. That was 5 minutes by bus. It would take me maybe half an hour to walk from my house to the bus stop. So all in all, it was about an hour and a half for me
It was
to
an
get to
adventure.
Leeds to buy some music. Yeah, and so it was. It was a real adventure. It would be a full day, so I could go for music, and and I would go to the indie music stores in Leeds, and just explore. I remember in Nirvana for the first time, and being excited to take that home. Sometimes I would just get I would pick things up that I liked the look of the cover and just take that
Mm-hmm.
home. And you'd buy singles as well, so I'd put stacks of singles, whatever was released over like the last month and a half.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would just go back with bags full of music. It's basically what I spent all my money on. And then, I'd get home and I would have bags of CDs that I would sort of sit alone with and just listen to. And some of it was crap. I didn't want to listen to it ever again. And some of it became, some of it became, I became obsessed with it, and I would learn every song, and I would, you know, yeah, it was definitely I think relationship with music
Mm-hmm.
um, was different than it is now, because that is such a personal journey to go and cut to the music and take home and own the music. And maybe
And
there's
take the
some lessons.
wrapper off and pull out the liner notes and see, the
Yeah,
sleeve design and like actually
yeah,
physically touch it, hold it. And I think maybe that's why you see like this resurgence in vinyl now. Like
yeah,
you go to like H&M and there's a whole vinyl section. Of course, it's way more expensive now than it used to be, which is
yeah,
interesting to me. But
yeah,
maybe it's part of that touching, holding feeling of the music that kind of brings that back around for a generation that has never known it.
yeah. I think so. I think it's another way for people to feel like they own a piece of the art as well, right? It's not
Hmm.
too it's too temporary streaming. The music is there and then it's gone and it lives in the cloud and it's never really yours. But
Yeah.
I think it's that. I think people like to own something to feel like they have I don't know, piece of the Rolling Stones or a piece of, Lana Del Rey or whatever it is that they want to buy. So,
Well, I think an extension of that is, merch at shows. I mean, it used to be like maybe you'll get a shirt, maybe you'll get a pen, but now like if you look at the numbers, like merch sales are beyond insane at these
yeah,
shows that they're triple what they used to be. And I think maybe you're right. People just want to hold on to some of that memory in a tangible way.
yeah, yeah, I think so. I think that's great. I mean, which obviously, like I said, I don't tour as much anymore, but when I did,
Hmm.
merch was huge for my band. It sustained it for a long time, or paid for the next tour, and the tour after that if it was a really good sort of um, run of dates merch wise. So yeah, I mean, I think it's also a way for people to support. Right? I think people know that um, it's tough for touring bands, and so
Yeah.
if you buy some merch, it's like more money for the band. It means they come back in
Yeah. You can still see
three
more of
months
it.
time or 4 months time or whatever. Yeah.
Looking at your Instagram, you're obviously very visually creative. You have a great aesthetic eye. Is that something that when you're creating the music, are you also thinking of how you're visually going to present it as well?
Sometimes I think usually with the album and the singles, I tend to think backwards with the singles, and it sometimes you end up with an image of things when you're making something. For Love Kills, I always had the image of an eye in my head.
Hmm.
For Funland, it felt pop art, it felt pop arty, and for this one, it felt like I was in the woods. I don't know why, because I didn't record it in the woods. I did it in New York City. It felt like I was in the woods, and uh, and it felt like it should be black and white, and that is what the cover for Museum Day will be. I think I remember being in a radio interview last year, and and they said, "Oh, you're such a lover of pop art," and I
Mm.
never thought about it. But then I realized that everything released is usually with a piece of kind of pop art. Everything on my wall in my apartment is a piece of pop art. I
Oh,
think I hadn't thought about it. I just come with what I loved, but
um,
um,
are you
yeah,
in New York City now?
I am. Yeah.
Oh, I'm traveling up there tomorrow, oddly enough,
Oh,
to go to museums. Can you tell me a little bit about Museum Day?
you're gonna go to museums tomorrow?
I am. I'm going to the Natural History Museum
Oh, I was gonna say
and then the Fine Art Museum.
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So museum day. I can't remember now where the title came from. It was just kind of swimming around. I mean, I'm a lover of museums. It's
Hmm.
one of the reasons why I love New York. Um, but there's something about a day where, it's for me personally anyway,
Hmm.
where, people have different places they go to feel something, to feel
Yeah.
connected to some, to feel renewed, recharged. Culture. I love it. I love seeing things I've not seen before and learning about things I didn't
Hmm.
know about before, and art and museums. That's almost endless. Especially these huge New York museum. Visit
Hmm.
them all hundreds of times probably, and still find something new every time I'm
No.
there, even if it's not in an exhibition or something. So was just kind of it was a feeling. Museum Day is a feeling really than it to me more than it is an actual. This was a Sunday in 2022. Remember that it was. It's about a feeling, and then because the song was kind of the cornerstone of the record, I decided to name the record to that feeling as well.
I like the way you put that, though, that, there is an air to a museum that is unlike really any other kind of building because it does kind of have the promise of something new, something different, growing, learning, seeing. It's going to be a tough question, but do you have a favorite museum?
Um, that's so tough. I don't
So
even
tough.
know.
How about one
There's
of your
so
favorite
many.
ones that just comes to mind?
I the Metropolitan Museum here in New York. I love. There's so many different things in that museum. You can have the antiquities, Egypt and Greece and Rome.
Love that.
And then you wander straight from that into Picasso and you know Monet and so it feels like an exploration of civilization a little bit. That museum, you know,
Very cool. I'll have to
and
put it on my list.
yeah, you not been there before, Matt?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I mean it's huge. You could spend all day in there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's an amazing museum, and it kind of does have it's just so much in there. Um,
I
yeah,
love art.
definitely recommend it.
I could wander at those halls day in and day out. I think one of the coolest things I saw at the Tate in London was they had a
Uh,
lot of the original Beatles lyric sheets. with
Oh,
the
that's cool.
scratch outs and where they change things and move stuff
Yeah.
around, and that kind of blends that music history into like a love of museums, and you're just like you're standing there in front of like, oh my god, this was almost a completely
Yeah.
different song, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool. How are you kind of chronicling your music and your journey in music? Like, do you keep stuff like that? Do you have it all kind of piled away somewhere, or is it all in your head?
Try to. I'm terrible for that. I do try to. I mean, I came across a box the other day of stuff
Yeah.
that I had not seen for 10 years, and there was a bunch of like old notes and lyrics and ideas and stuff in there, and it was cool for me to see because I
Hmm.
forget so much about what was going on at any given time. So I try. I'm pretty bad at that. I do try. I try to journal, and I'm not particularly good at journaling. Sure.
Same.
A lot of it is sadly in my head. I think that's why I create so much. I don't feel like I've created enough to this point.
Hmm.
For how prolific I am as a creator of music, I haven't released enough of what I've created. So I think, um, yeah, there was a kind of a switch that just went off in me during COVID that is kind of propelling me to make
Keep
and
going.
release. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I do want to talk about what's coming up in the future, but we are already halfway through and we've only done two songs. So I would love
Okay,
to jump in on another song here with you in the Jam Happy Hour. What would you like to play for us next?
I'm gonna play Museum Day next.
Oh, how perfect then. All right, here you go.
Yeah,
Museum Day
perfect.
in the Jam Happy Hour.
Look a little neon aeroplane. It does are open on the museum day. Like some of us crooning in the rain. Truck cannonballing on the damn train. Put a little wind from the storm. Put a little lightning in the subway song. The days come early and the nights go late. Let's go surfing on your sugar wave. I want to go out anywhere with you. It don't matter where we go tonight. It don't matter where we go tonight. I want to go out anywhere with you. It don't matter where we go tonight. It don't matter where we go tonight. Oh, Brooklyn, baby, lullaby. You've been causing trouble since you caught my eye. What a weird sensation, I don't know why. But I wanna taste it almost every night. It's a little sour, it's a little sweet. Sing karaoke on a dive bar stage. When it's happy hour, you never miss a beat. So let's go surfing on your sugar wave. I want to go out anywhere with you. It don't matter where we go tonight. It don't matter where we go tonight. I want to go out anywhere with you. It don't matter where we go tonight. It don't matter where we go tonight. I want to go out anywhere with you. It don't matter where we go tonight. It don't matter where we go tonight. I want to go dance anywhere with you. It don't matter where we go tonight. It don't matter where we go tonight. I want to go out anywhere with you. I want to go out
Museum Day here in the Jam Happy Hour also happens to be the name of the next album that's about the street in 2 weeks,
Yeah, wow,
October
yeah, great.
27th.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah,
that like
2 days
to
from my
know that
birthday.
that's your birthday?
29th is my birthday,
Oh,
so
that's you're gonna have a
flies.
great weekend.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
When you've got that body of work that you've been working on for quite some time, and I'm sure just getting to know you, you have reworked and gone over, and every sound in these songs is personal to you. And now you're about to release it to the world. And as soon as you do, I mean, the two singles are already out now, but as soon as the full thing goes out, like, it belongs to somebody else. Mentally,
Yeah,
what is that like for you?
I love it. I love it. That's
Yeah.
like the most rewarding part. Yeah, yeah. Because even though they're mine, I never. They're mine until they're released, and then they're not mine anymore. And um, that's just such. That's the feeling, love that is. It's in the world. It's born. Um, and then it finds people, and uh, and then it makes them feel something. They
Hmm.
create like their own memories or connections to it, and yeah, I love when it's no longer mine and it's born. Yeah,
That's really cool because that's what happens. Like you're in one place as you're writing it, but somebody else in their place and their time and in their experiences, they're going to hear it completely different. So, their take on Museum Day could be incredibly different than the next person. And I've always
yeah,
found that very interesting that people can hear the same song and get like 20 different meanings out of it.
yeah. And I mean, why I never like to, people, when you get asked what something means,
Right.
I don't like to go into much because I don't want to take that from somebody else. I don't want to take a meaning from somebody else. So,
Yeah.
I write a song about something, but I don't usually fully explain anything I write because
Sure.
unless it's obvious, then
That
I don't
Jane told a lie and
yeah.
and here we are.
And then yeah, because it's I don't and I even like kind of lyrics. I tried to leave them a little loose, a little open to interpretation, purposely a lot of the time. So
You had mentioned earlier that you are a fan of the full album, and not just listening to a song here and a song there. I'm just going to assume you're putting these albums together in the same way. Like you vision the full storyboard.
sometimes, yeah, not with this one. This one was a little different to how I've made records in the past because I started right at the end of 2022 and kind of demoed out about 14 songs and
Hmm.
then took a bunch of at the beginning of the year to record it and something was not sitting right with me about the songs that didn't feel cohesive enough. I
Hmm.
didn't like some of the sounds and then I wrote Museum Day the week I was supposed to go in to start laying down the drums
Oh,
and decided to scrap the entire thing. And Museum Day was going to be the first of a whole new record. And
oh
so,
wow.
over the space of, I did it into kind of chunks over the next of maybe 6 weeks. Um, the total amount of time writing and recording that record is probably only about 2 weeks. And I just didn't really think about or overthink it or
Wow.
overanalyze it too much. I kind of just recorded it and it was kind of done with it. I had not made a record like that before, so
Yeah.
um,
How's that sitting with you now that literally it's about to go?
well, yeah. I mean, I think it's what's cool about this record. I didn't overanalyze. I didn't spend too long on it. It kind of is fresh to me as well because I
Yeah.
didn't really spend any time with it.
Hmm.
And that's cool. I mean, it's like it's of a moment. It's a little loose in areas that maybe I would have fixed, but I like that to it,
Hmm.
and it was really fun. And I think I'm gonna try and make the next record in the same way and try and yeah, just let the song come, record them, next one. I like that. I like that. I like that
It's
way of working. It makes life easier.
not having to go through every detail and everything, every
Yeah.
planned out. I mean, it's a good challenge, though. You said let's try something, and you change the whole thing up, and from what I can see, it's going pretty well.
Yeah, it, I'm really excited to get it out there. I think, they're yeah, I'm excited with the reaction to the singles. I think people are gonna really enjoy the record. Um, yeah, I'm excited, and there's also bits of it that influenced the next record. So there is definitely once the next record is out
That you're already
after
like
this one,
working on, and
people, yeah, you'll be able to see the transition because there's definitely bits in this record that influenced mine to imagine what the next record would sound like. So, um,
if someone is just experiencing you for the first time, or maybe Museum Day is going to be like their first, kind of foray into going down the wormhole that is Coil. Uh, is there a quintessential order to going back and listening, or you like stay current and go back and come forward, or stay here and go back?
I don't know. I mean, solo music wise, yeah, I guess makes sense when you go
Hmm.
chronologically. Um,
That was the word I couldn't
you know,
think of, Smarty.
to me,
Chronologically.
to me, uh, yeah, there. I see, obviously, you know, the music made in my band influences me still as well. So
Hmm.
there's definitely bits of that scattered all throughout it. I was the singer and the songwriter in my band, so obviously it's going to pretty
Yeah.
pretty similar in part. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just, I always hope that people listen to the album. That's how I write them.
Hmm.
That's how I imagine them, and that's how I track list them to be listened in an order. I know that's a bit of a forgotten art, and maybe a little romantic way of thinking about
Oh,
music nowadays. But
I think it's
that's
lovely.
that's how I would prefer people to it. But that's
Well,
not
we've
realistic for
discussed it a
most
couple
people.
times here in the Jam Happy Hour. I think with Adele's latest release, when she released it to all of the platforms, she said you can't skip between the songs. You have to let them play in order. So some artists are still very much down with that, and she's got the muscle flex to make it happen.
Yeah.
So I think it's still something that people do enjoy, just like putting it on and letting it play.
Yeah, I hope so because I do think that's how a lot of artists make their records. That's how a lot of us hope the record will be heard.
But it's got to be the right
It's
artist too,
it's
though. It's got to
the
have
only
like depth. It's got to have like
yeah.
story, and and your music definitely has a really great and beautiful depth to it. Like you can tell there are stories and feelings and memories and things to look forward to in all of it too. And we've
Yeah.
got even more to look forward to because we have time for about one more song.
Yeah. I'm gonna do Jane Tells a Lie.
That Jane every time.
Yeah. Jane is a fake name, by the
Okay, good.
way.
I'm sure she appreciates
Told you.
that.
I hide things.
Very clever.
All right. So yeah, this is Jane Tells a Lie.
Enjoy.
Jane tells a lie, and nothing really matters anymore. Oh, Jane tells a lie, nothing really matters anymore than it did before. When you were writing letters to undercut on the bedroom floor, she's a metaphor, just a little magic, blink and miss it. I could kiss it up against the wall. Hold my head, close my eyes. Oh, let's see you in truth tonight. Oh, Jane, tell a lie. Nothing really matters on a different floor. Hold my heart one more time. Oh, let's see use and truth tonight. Oh, Jane tells a lie. Nothing really matters anymore. Oh, Jane tells a lie. Nothing really matters anymore. Oh, Jane tells a lie, and nothing really matters anymore. Oh, Jane tells a lie, and nothing really matters. Nothing really matters. Oh, Jane tells a lie, and nothing really matters anymore. Jane tells a lie, and nothing really matters. Oh, nothing really matters. Oh, nothing really matters anymore. Oh, nothing really matters. 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 Oh,
Jane Tells a Lie, that is off of Museum Day, which is just about 2 weeks away. Get into your pre-orders, and I know you've got something posted up on your Instagram as well, so you can follow along. What is the best way to follow along? Because you are up to 1,000 things between plays and shows and teaching classes and creating already another album. How do we follow along?
yeah, I guess I think probably Instagram. I guess is the
That's the one you're
easiest
most
way.
active in.
I think so. Yeah, I'm definitely not a TikTok guy. So I'd say Instagram is probably the easiest way, or Threads now.
Yep.
Used to be Twitter, but can't stand that anymore. So Threads. Let's go with right now.
I feel like we could have a whole discussion on that. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your talent and the stories. And we are looking forward to not only release date, but your birthday as well. So happy birthday.
Yes. Thank you.
And
Thank you.
thank you for the museum
Def-
advice.
yeah, definitely try hit that if you have time. I mean, so many stuff for choice. Whitney, so an amazing
Oh,
American art museum.
I'm just going to have to come back.
So much. Yeah, always come back. New York, you can never.
I haven't been to New York in 22 years.
What?
Yeah.
Disgrace.
I'm taking my daughter for the first time ever. We're both going to be like this. Oh my God.
Oh, it's a great time. It's amazing. I love it.
Well, I know what I'm downloading to my playlist for the flight. Coyle Girelli, thank you so much. And cheers to you and cheers to the music. And we'll see you soon, hopefully here on the Jam Happy Hour.